Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I'm the founder and now partner of a fabulous 25-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and now Napa over the last 20 years, and in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspiring living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Welcome, everyone, and thanks again for listening to our podcast, Inspiring Living. Well, we are already in week 4 from beautiful McMinnville, Oregon, and my vacation has officially ended a week ago. But my daughter Tiffany and my wife Isabel and I are all here hunkered down in our Airbnb, working away and Zooming with our clients and team who are also scattered across the country. I know I have staff members in upstate New York and Telluride, to mention a few, and my clients seem to be all over the place despite COVID-19. So people are getting out and about a little bit, but I think for the most part, people are pretty hunkered down. What do you think, Tiff?
It seems like it. I mean, I think people are just trying to get outside in nature and do things that they can. So, I mean, we've been taking advantage of that here in Oregon, and it's been really nice.
And beautiful. Yeah, and I noticed that in the pictures on social media. A lot of people are getting to the beach or to the mountains or just getting out and away, which I think we're maximizing that social distance, right?
We're trying.
We're trying. So our daily game plan during the week is get up early and crank away on sketches, drawings, emails, what have you, do our Zoom meetings, and then cut off in the late afternoon and hit some wineries or the forest, and then make dinner or grab a bite outside at a local restaurant. It's been pretty fabulous.
Oh, yes, it has.
So nice up here. So our team now is in week 19 and working from home at Candelaria Design, and we have pushed our return to Labor Day. And even then, we may do some rotating of our teams or shifts just to keep us all spaced apart as possible. So we're going to kind of, again, wait and see how things adapt, see what happens in other businesses. We've been taking our time because, we're so damn fortunate we have the luxury to do so. So
yeah, it's been working out.
It's been working out. But I hear it from my staff. They're all getting a little home, what do you call it? Cabin fever, I think.
Cabin fever.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to come to the new office. And, our office is totally remodeled, and it's all brand new.
I
and
know,
no one, half of the staff has never
nice.
even seen it. So it's going to be pretty exciting to get everybody over there. So given the continued COVID issue, we are canceling the Napa tour, sadly. We originally had scheduled it for April, then we tried to move it to Labor Day, and it's just too risky with everything going on and the unpredictable nature of everything in general. So same with my 60th birthday celebration. That, again, was originally planned for Lake Como in October, and then we attempted to move it to Sedona and the Enchantment Resort, and that, too, is just not going to happen. So we will just have to wait until 2021 and see where that year takes us.
Hopefully we can celebrate some things next year.
We'll just lay low, and we'll just kind of keep it a family thing, I guess.
Yeah, we'll definitely still celebrate your life.
Yeah, 60 years. Man, that just doesn't even seem possible. But I have been thinking of booking some cottages here on a vineyard in Oregon during election night and escaping the whole thing with some great food and, of course, some good wine and watching the outcome in the middle of nowhere. Let me know if that sounds appealing to anyone. Maybe we'll do an election night tour.
But you can't appeal to too many people, or then it won't work.
I know. We'll have to spread everybody out again. Okay, well, all kidding aside, I want to offer my gratitude to all of you who have been listening to our podcast as our listeners keep growing nicely. Thanks to all who tuned into our podcast last week, where we started a 3-part podcast featuring my 3 partners at Candelaria Design. Last week, we featured Meredith Thompson, and her podcast was fantastic. And this week, we're featuring the lady who runs the mothership of Candelaria Design, Evelyn Jung.
Evelyn.
Yeah, Evelyn runs the show. Let me tell you, we're all doing the architecture, but she's making it happen behind the scenes.
Yeah,
so.
like basically everything else.
Evelyn is not an architect, but instead earned her stripes with our organization by handling all of our finances, payables, HR, and a plethora of other tasks and duties that none of us understand or have any appreciation of. But because she does her job to perfection now for nearly 15 years, we can put our time and effort into being fantastic architects. So we're pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky to have someone like Evelyn, right?
Right, and you kind of found her right from the get-go. So
Well, I'll let her tell the story, but it was pretty interesting how she did. No, it's okay. I'll let her tell the story because it's pretty good. It's a good part of the podcast. I have had a number of people, mostly other architects, seem perplexed at me on making an administration position a partner of my business. My answer is the same. If you have a person who can reliably lead and manage this aspect of your business, it makes being an architect so much more effective and enjoyable. And Evelyn is such a key component of what makes our team truly successful.
For sure. Yep.
Yep, she does a great job. Our mantra is inspiring living, and we do our best to do that in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course, with our Candelaria Design homes. I have trouble saying my last name sometimes. It's a mouthful, I guess.
It is.
Okay, give this podcast a listen. It will become very apparent why Evelyn is a partner of our firm. Next week, we will feature our 3rd part of this 3-part podcast with my partner and longtime friend, Vivian Ayala, as she will be celebrating 20 years with our organization.
Wow.
20 years next week.
That's incredible.
Isn't that
That's
incredible?
like as long as you've been a firm.
Pretty long. Yeah, I mean, we virtually are celebrating our 21st year in August, and she's celebrating her 20th year.
Aw.
And Jeff Kramer is right behind her. We'll have to get him on a podcast,
Yeah, I was wondering.
too. We need to do that. Okay, so have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Okay? Here we go. All right, I have my second partner here today. We finished with Meredith, who is my youngest partner of our firm, and now I've got Evelyn Jung, who is the middle-aged partner, not middle-aged, that's not the right term. You've been here the second longest of all 3 of my partners, okay? And so I think the unique thing about you, Evelyn, is that you are not an architect. So how in the heck did you end up being a partner in an architecture firm? How does that happen?
With luck, I
Nah,
think.
that's not luck. It's hard work. Hard work. So tell us about that. What do you do?
So I run the business aspect of the firm. So I do the fun stuff like HR, accounting.
Sending the bills out.
Yeah, sending the bills out.
Make sure people pay.
Yeah, I the clients love to hear from me.
Pay the
So,
vendors.
yeah.
Make sure everyone's getting paid.
Yep, I kind of make sure that, I do most of the business stuff so that way you guys can keep drawing
Yep.
and keep, making sure that the clients are happy.
Yep.
So,
No, and you do a lot of the part of making the clients happy too. I mean, you answer a lot of questions on their bills and what's going on, provide the backup material, get with the architects, what's this about? How come they're bitching about this, or what's the problem here? But you're the one that kind of gets in there and helps solve all those things and bridges the gap a lot of times when there is a situation, and we all appreciate it.
yeah, I think it's all just customer service in general for all of us. And
Yep.
and what's great about it is I feel like everybody in our firm just jumps in.
Right. We all
So,
jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've done a great job, and I'd like to talk about a little bit of how you ended up with us, how you got here,
Yeah.
and I think your life is very interesting. So tell us, where were you born?
So I was born in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington.
Mhm.
You're still a Seahawks fan.
Yes, I'm a diehard Seahawks fan, which is kind of tough in Arizona, but that's okay. I have much love for Cardinals too.
Yep.
So
We've got a couple Super Bowl rings, so that's not too bad. Is it 1 or 2?
we're at one.
Just 1. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
don't want to talk about the last 2 Super Bowls.
Those stung.
Yeah, the ones you lose are really, really
Yeah.
tough, aren't they? So,
Well, my dad flew in for the Super Bowl against the Broncos, and you're a
yeah.
Broncos fan.
Well, you won that one.
Yeah, but
That was a crazy one.
I didn't want to win that way, That was a brutal murder.
Hey, I'll take it whatever way you can. So you grew up in Seattle. Tell us about what it was like for the young Evelyn.
For the young Evelyn, it was exciting. Both of my parents were in the military, and it's a different world.
What branch of the military?
They were both in the Air Force for
Okay.
20 years, and it was just a great community. Air Force, brats are, we're just so unique, and we're all different, so we kind of have to adjust and kind of, you don't know when your parents are going to be deployed and where they're going to be stationed, and you kind of just have to run, go with the flow.
Go with the flow, yeah.
Yeah.
Now tell us about your background, your family ancestry, and I think that's kind of interesting too.
So my mom's from Ohio.
Okay.
She has a French-Irish background.
Interesting.
Yeah, and my dad was born in Trinidad, and he has just like a East Indian background.
Yep.
So
So you're kind of a mutt like me.
It's great. I love it.
I do too. I think it's awesome.
I think there's nothing better than just being a part of everything and just having so many different cultures.
All the diversity.
Beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because my grandmother went to Catholic school and my grandfather is Hindu, and it's just, but they all have the same beliefs.
Yeah.
So.
If you look at all the underlying of all of them, the core values are kind of all the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The stories are similar, and everybody's just trying to just be good people.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part.
For the most part. There's a few kind of crazy ones in Seattle these days.
Well, yeah. I think a lot of businesses are coming our way, so we got to get ready for that.
Yeah, exactly. So from Seattle, though, you did move around a little bit, didn't you, or not?
I did.
Yeah.
I moved to Japan. That was the first station we were in, and we were in Misawa, Japan for about 4 years. And the Japanese culture is just incredible. Warm.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 9.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I moved back here when I was 12. We went from Japan to South Dakota.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a difference.
We were in Ellsworth for a year, and then we went to my parents split up, and my mom was stationed in Arizona, and she took my brother there, and my dad was stationed in Florida. So I moved over there with him for a year, and then I kind of figured, I was like, okay, well, I'm 13, 14. I kind of need my mom at this stage. So I ended up moving back to Arizona and just stayed here.
Yeah, interesting.
Which is funny because I hated Arizona because I was just constantly around water. So being in the desert was kind of crazy.
Kind of a big difference.
Yeah,
big
exactly.
Change. So then, you went to high school out here?
Yeah, I went to Glendale High School.
Okay.
And I graduated in 2001. At the same time, I applied to University of Arizona to go into just a medical field, and I got accepted. But I was like, how the hell am I going to pay for this?
Yeah.
So I decided to join the Marine Reserves. And I remember the day I signed up, I didn't talk to my parents about it. I just did it. And I was like, they're in the military. They're not going to care.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, my parents probably weren't thrilled that I signed up for the Marine Corps because, they're Air Force.
Yeah.
So, but, they supported me. And a week after my graduation, I went to Parris Island for boot camp.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was 8 weeks into it. I think it's a 12-week program, just trying to remember.
Yep.
And, I failed the shooting test. And
now, how'd you fail that?
So you get these nice issued military grade glasses, and I am blind as a bat without my contacts. So you get these bottle caps, and they're great, but while you're shooting, I did great at the practice round, and then when it came to the testing, I froze.
Couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they gave me the option of recycling, meaning you have to go all the way back to the 8 weeks and start again.
Wow.
Or you can go back and, go to school. And so I decided to go back. And that was mid-August of 2001.
Okay. So you went back, and then what happened?
I went back, and 9/11 happened.
That's right.
And it just kind of was a whirlwind for everybody. And I decided to, instead of going to U of A, I couldn't afford it, so I decided to go to community college. And while I was doing that, I just started working at David's Bridal.
Where was that at?
That was in Arrowhead.
Okay, Arrowhead.
Yeah, in Glendale.
Gotcha.
And so it was kind of crazy because as I was going to school, I just started working up the ranks, and I became a store manager, and I became, just kind of the go-to person. They started talking to me about becoming district manager, regional, and
it's amazing what happens when you work hard and stay in one place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little crazy because at 19, 20, that's not what I was looking for,
right?
And I just kind of, organically started doing that,
yep.
And I was like, I think I should probably focus on school. So I ended up leaving there so I could focus, and I became a temp just to get some kind of money. And that's how I ended up in Candelaria Design world.
So you went to a temp agency.
Yeah.
And they stuck you at my firm.
Yep.
And in my recollection of the story was, I think the person who ran our front desk got sick or had to go out of town, or there was some reason why we had to get a temp. But we got you. And I can't remember how long you were there, but I remember, I think by day 2 or 3, we were like, we're keeping the temp and we're getting rid of the gal who was behind the desk. Because you were just like exactly what I was looking for. You had good energy, you were smart, and I was just like thrilled that you'd walked in the door.
Oh, well, right back at you. I came into that office and I was just kind of confused.
What year was this?
This was 2005.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started as a temp in October, and I got hired on full-time in December. And it was just kind of at the point, especially with the team we have and what we do, I didn't know what residential architecture was. I had no clue. I was like, what do you guys do?
Yeah.
And it was insane. And the energy that you brought to the firm, and
we were flying pretty high in 2005 and 6.
Yeah,
we were going full tilt.
I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer at that point, and you were starting tours, and I mean, there were just a lot of things where it just kind of fell into my lap, and I'm so forever grateful for everything that you've given us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's all because of all of you guys that I can give it. So it's it's a team effort for sure.
Yeah, but it's hard to find a position, I think, for anybody where it's not just architecture, it's not just management. It's
right.
It's I hear it all the time when people are like, "So what does your firm do?" And you pause for a little bit because you can't really pinpoint what we do. A lot.
We do a lot of different things.
Yeah. So it's the best of both worlds, traveling, architecture, lifestyle. It's perfect.
It's a lot of fun. So somewhere along the way, you met this young man named Scott Jung.
Yes,
so
I did.
Tell me about that. Where did that happen? Was it right at David's Bridal that you just walked in and said, buy the wedding dress?
Yeah,
let's go elope? Yeah,
he was ready to go. No, I'm trying to think. We were dating. So yeah, we were actually dating for about 9 months before I got the position.
So it was right before you came to work for us.
Yeah, and ironically, I met him at his house at a football, or he was watching football with the guys, and I was actually dating his roommate.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I felt like I knew him from somewhere, and it was like 6 months after I first met him, then we started talking.
Yeah.
So it was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's my guy for sure.
And you just had your anniversary, your 10-year, right?
10 years, yeah.
Yep. And you celebrated at my enchantment.
Yes.
And how was that?
That was just it's a surprising little gem in Sedona.
It's neat up there.
I really don't want to tell anybody about it because it's so majestic, and you don't want it to be too crowded. You want it to be perfect.
Go there and zen out and relax. And
yeah.
It's really nice. It's really relaxing.
What's crazy is, the service there. Just, we were talking about this when we were over there. Just the smallest gesture of every staff member just waving to you and saying hello.
Hello, right.
It's almost like we need to make that a requirement here.
Well, I know you're always working on all that stuff, which I love. But travel is a great way to really learn a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, you kind of see, ways to really treat people
Mm-hmm.
and customer service, just the simple things. I mean, we were at, Altabella
Yep.
in Italy,
Yep.
and Elizabeth had like the smallest little snacks that were just, I mean, mind blowing.
Right.
So there's just, I get why you travel, and I get why you tell the staff, this is what we're doing, because you just kind of want them to be aware. And that's the problem with a lot of things right now. People are just aren't aware.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. I think that hopefully this is becoming a big awakening for a lot of people.
Yeah, I
It
think
seems
so.
like it is because they're slowing down a little bit and they're taking a look around and they're like, "This isn't. Why have I been doing things like this for so long?"
Right.
So you hear it, and we're doing the same here in our company. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that you've already brought up that we're finding new ways to work, new ways to work from home. Everybody has a different life situation, and we're trying to adapt for that. Given kids can't go to school,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and so you get the brunt of a lot of that stuff and dealing with those issues, and you do such a great job with it all.
Well, I think what's great is the staff is very patient, and they understand that we are just kind of learning as we go
Right.
when it comes to this situation. They're not hot-headed. They're not coming at us, guns a-blazing or anything. They're like, hey, this is my struggle.
Right.
What can we do? And I think that's the key of keeping your team happy and keeping them here in the company.
Right.
You talk about, what's going on, and you're worth investing time and trying to make it work.
Yep. We want things
So.
to work for our employees because if they're happy and they're productive and they feel good, then they are productive for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the struggles of what's going on with COVID-19, it's
Mhm.
definitely an eye opener. And every now and then I get these panic attacks and like, oh my God, this is actually happening. But at the same time, there's some blessings in it because,
Yeah. You got to find the good in everything.
Yeah.
And then make the most of it. Like, okay, let's tweak this now. Let's start zooming more because we can do it and we don't have to waste all this time going and coming to meetings. And so there's a lot of great things we've learned from it. But I think the way you earned your wings with our company, or your, what do you call those things in the Army? Your badges or whatever they call
Stripes
your
or-
stripes. There you go, badges. Show me your badges. So, but you earned your stripes with this company. In my mind, was your effort and hard work and support during the Great Recession, and what you did for me personally, and just managing my situation because I was going through total hell with business deals that were falling apart. I was going through a divorce. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, among millions of people. I mean, everybody was kind of going through just chaos. And I mean, the biggest thing that I learned from you and all that is just keep going.
Yeah,
Even
and
if
we
you
did.
lose an arm or a leg, just keep going.
we lost at least one arm, and maybe luckily it wasn't my left arm. Got to keep that left arm intact because that's the golden
Yeah,
arm.
you would have been great in battle. Just
Oh
keep
my
going,
gosh. But yeah, those are some tough times, and you always stuck with me, you always helped me through it, and I knew right then that I had someone that I could be in a foxhole with, and would get me on the other side, and so that's why I've always had such value for you, both on a personal and a professional basis. I don't think there's anyone that has ever been so supportive of me other than my new wife, Isabel. And so luckily now I've got you, I've got Isabel, I've got Meredith, I've got Vivian. I'm a pretty lucky guy.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, and you're
And
working with your daughter
I
now.
working with my daughter now,
Yeah.
and so
You're surrounded by
a
tons
lot
of women.
a lot of beautiful women, and you joke about that all the time. It's like I don't know how he does it. So that's why I go on the char ride, just to kind of get 3 days of just manliness,
Oh yeah, I think that's why Scott does too. He's
Oh, my
like, oh my gosh.
So after Scott, you have now 2 wonderful sons.
Yeah.
And so whenever I watch you in social media or I see you with your boys, it totally, and I've told you this before, it totally reminds me of my mom, because it was my mom and my my brother and I.
Yeah.
And my dad was at work, and you're at work. My mom used to work, and I don't know. I look at you and Scott as just like my mom and dad, and then your 2 boys just like my brother and I. And we used to play football in the hall and put our heads through the walls, and
Yeah.
right?
Having 2 boys is a complete eye opener of how rough boys are. I'm just.
And they love sports.
They love sports, and they just love life. And
Yeah. And they're very different, aren't they?
they are. They are. I think I was hanging around you too much because my oldest is a lefty, and that came out of nowhere. And he loves to draw. He loves to sketch. He is so great at baseball. Nate is just he's such a funny guy, man. He had a sense of humor at 2, and I was just like, "Where's this guy going, man?"
It's cool.
Yeah,
How old is he now?
he's 8. He's
8.
going into 3rd grade.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we just signed him up for karate, and it's weird because I was in karate, and it's just nice to see them kind of go through the milestones that Scott and I went through.
Yeah.
So
Does it bring back memories for you?
Oh yeah, yeah, and they're gonna figure it out in their own way.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone figures out in their own way. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, and my youngest is 5, and I mean he's a spitfire. He is like this little tank, very rough, but he's such a foodie, and he's all about animals, and it's crazy what these kids can learn and how quickly they absorb everything.
Yep.
And I mean, I look at all the kids, like especially in the office. I mean, we have teenagers that
we have everything.
Yeah, we have little ones.
Yep.
And I think they are so resilient with everything that we've gone through.
Right.
So.
Well, you're the mom of the office. You know that, right?
I am.
Everyone comes to you with their problems, and it's your job to solve everything.
Come to me with their problems. I think I pry like a mom, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, you do a good job. It's not easy because there's a lot of personalities in this office.
Yeah, but I think as a good manager, you kind of have to have that caring aspect.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just they're not robots.
Right. No, and we care. I mean, we obviously care a great deal about our employees, and we do a lot for them and with them. And
you're constantly worried about them.
Yeah.
It's a little nutty how worried. You're like, well, I mean, what about once they graduate, once they go to school? I knew you were worried about like Jeff Kramer's kids when they were going to college.
It's just amazing. Well, for me, it's just crazy how fast it all goes.
It does.
I mean, I remember baseball games when we go to the Diamondbacks game with the whole office, and Jeff Kramer's 2 little kids would sit in the chairs next to me, and they were just little tykes. And I remember the family camping trip that we did with the company camping trip, and those little kids were breaking rocks with hammers. And
oh man, I missed that. That sounds awesome.
Well, Tiff and I are talking about rejuvenating the CDA camping trip for August.
Yeah. Ugh, man.
Can you imagine this group on a camping trip?
That's a lot of people.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I remember Bella, like a picture of Bella at the reception desk on the phone. And
I remember that.
Like, I think maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, and I don't think she's probably 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 5 or 6. So.
And before Scott and I were even married and had kids, I mean, we babysat your kiddos one night, and man, it's an eye opener having kids.
It is. It changes. That's the one thing that changes your life forever. That's for sure, right?
Yeah, it gives you this purpose that, I mean, you really didn't even know you were missing.
Right. So at some point, I don't remember what year it is. I was trying to recollect with Meredith and Vivian. I think it was a couple of years ago, maybe longer. I talked to you and Meredith and Vivian and said, I'd really like to make you guys partners of the firm. I'm thinking about retirement. I'm still thinking about retirement. I'm trying to get there. It's going to take some time. But what did you think you had an idea that I was going to approach you about that, didn't you? Or were you surprised?
So you approached us, I think Vivian and I, in 2015 when I was pregnant with Evan. And I was elated, but at the same time scared.
Yeah.
Because, I was just having another baby, and I was like, oh, what does this all mean? So, Vivian took the dive, and she took the plunge, and she did it.
Yeah.
And, and she did it without any hesitation, and she was fierce about it, so that was great.
Yeah.
And then I hesitated, and, I think it was like 3 years later, I was like, okay.
I'm doing this.
I'm in a good place now. I can focus on, I could be a partner. And I signed up with Meredith, and it was great. Yep. And I mean, the partnership is just such a wonderful thing because we're all so different.
Yeah. But
we're also alike at the same time.
Yeah.
So
we complement each other, I think, really, really well. And
yeah.
I think that's what's really great about it.
Well, I always joke about how many personalities you have.
Yeah.
And I think when you're trying to look for a replacement, you're like, I can't find just one person. There's no way. I mean, you do so much, and you have different aspects of your life that, the cooking, the traveling, the architecture, and I think all three of us, in addition to, um, the next generation, that I think we're ready.
Yeah, I totally do. I mean, I think it's fun for you guys to keep up with me, isn't it?
Yes, fun's a good word.
It's like, oh my God, what's he doing next? I think I was emailing you guys on my new pizza oven idea the other night
Yeah,
at
yeah.
like 12 o'clock in the middle of the night. Oh, guess what? We're doing pizza ovens now. And the
Yeah.
first thing Janice was like, well, where are we going to put all these damn things?
She was worried about the shipping.
Yeah. She knew. She didn't even question whether it would happen or not.
No,
she was
she's
getting
like,
right into how are we going to ship these things.
How are we shipping them?
Right?
I was like, oh, that's how that's another person to have in the foxhole with you,
Oh, yeah. She's amazing.
I
We've
mean,
gotten lucky.
She didn't blink. She was like, all right,
Oh,
well, how are we going to deal with shipping?
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah. So what's ahead for Evelyn? What's in the years ahead? I mean, how old are you right now?
I'm 37.
37. You're a partner of a 20-person firm. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
crazy.
And when you tell your friends that you're a partner of an architectural firm, do they look at you like, what? Why? How? How did that happen?
I you know what? It's so great is I just kind of separate all that. I have just this wonderful group of friends that, I mean, we're just people.
They support you, and
Yeah, we're just people. We rarely talk about work. We really just talk about, being parents and being wives, and, let's go out, get a glass of wine and chill out. And you definitely need that balance for sure.
So how do you balance? What do you do to like zen out, get away from it all?
So I just got a Peloton.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
ironically, I got it in January.
See, I was thinking of renting that little tiny space behind the kitchen.
Oh, really?
And just put like 3 Pelotons in there. Would that be cool?
I was debating. I was like,
Make
should
it our
I
little
have
gym?
my Peloton in the office, or should I have it at the house? And I waited a year before buying it because I was like, am I going to use this thing? And it came to me in January.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, they love it. And there's like little groupies too, Peloton groupies that I'm a part of, and so
they're not my groupies, are they?
they might be. If you get on there, you might. So it's great because I could just jump on whenever I want to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You like it?
Oh yeah. Well, and especially with the quarantine.
Right,
and
like boys there. And
yeah. Well, it's not as glamorous on the commercial. Everybody's like, they have this wonderful window view. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the front entry, and my boys are staring at me along with my dog. So it's not great.
It's not quite as glamorous.
No.
That's so funny.
But you get it done, and so
you're doing that.
I do that. What do I do? I spend so much time with my family and, my friends, and
raising 2 boys is.
Yeah, it's enough.
It's enough.
Yeah, the virtual school was an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough, isn't it?
It is, but then at the same time, it keeps the parents accountable. And, when the kiddos are struggling with reading and math, just that one-on-one, it's great for them.
Yeah.
They
That's
need
cool.
that.
So what do you think, what's next for Evelyn? What are some of your goals here at Candelaria Design?
So on a personal level, I'm finishing my degree in economics at ASU.
See, how cool is that?
Yeah. It's not something I like to advertise just because it's embarrassing. 37-year-old woman.
I don't have my degree, which you know. I like someday that's probably what I'll do when I retire, I guess.
That's like what you built, you know.
Well, I just been busy. That's all. I just haven't had time to go back to school.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of anticipating the lecture of, telling my boys, you have to go to school, you have to get a degree, and
well, you did do it, Mom.
yeah, exactly.
You're trying to beat that one.
Yeah, I gotta beat that, So
Yeah.
I got a ways, but I'm in my junior classes right now, so I'm done.
That's good.
I should be done by the end.
Well, I
of
know
the
you
year.
got an interest in real estate too.
Yeah, eventually, my dad's a real estate agent or a broker in North Carolina, and so he's like, he'll come out here and he sees these just monsters, and he's like, "Why aren't you in real estate?"
We're drawing them.
Yeah.
So, what did you think the first time you walked into one of our houses?
I was just like, okay, so.
Do you remember which house it was?
Yes.
Or you do?
It was the MRA 59th place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did I think we did our holiday photo shoot there.
Yeah, we did.
And I was just like, what? Okay, is this a resort? Is this a house? What is this?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't some
Yeah.
of them?
Yeah, because just I don't know. It's Paradise Valley in general. The houses there, I would love to just kind of bring, the kids that we were talking to at Elevate
Right,
to just walk through a house just to see,
right.
because a
Tell
lot,
people about what we're doing with that. I think that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
So Elevate Phoenix is actually it was founded by Tom Lehman,
I
I
think
believe.
so. The golfer, pro golfer Tom Lehman, who's a client
Yeah,
of ours and good friend of ours. It's a way that he designed to give back to the community and get kids involved in jobs and mentorship. And
yeah, it's a great eye opener for younger kids that are graduating high school, and especially now, there's so many opportunities, and people just don't realize what's out there.
right,
And Jasmine Hall, who kind of heads it all, does a great job at.
she's amazing, isn't
Oh,
she?
her energy, I love her.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm so glad we're getting involved with that.
yeah, because they they let the kids know, okay, you graduated high school, and I know you're struggling with, trying to take care of, your siblings and
Right.
going to school, but here's what you can do, and here's
Yep.
the opportunities for you.
Yep. And then we're working on kind of a fun program. I think we're going to call it Design Your Saturday, and get some of these kids over here to the office. And
Awesome.
and what we want to do is start the morning with, just maybe a little slideshow of some of the projects and what opportunities there are in architecture and design. And then I want to take them out to like 3 job sites. We'll take one like rough framing, one that's drywall, and then one that's completely finished, so they can see the whole progression. Kind of like we do on our quarterly
Yeah.
tours. And then we were going to bring them back here, do a nice little lunch in the Candelaria Design kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to have a little stack of room pieces for each kid. Like we'll have maybe 7 or 8 kids that morning, and then we'll say, okay, you guys just saw 3 great houses. Now it's your turn to design a house, and we're going to give them the whole afternoon to kind of put a house together, design it. I'll help them along the way, and then what I want to do that evening is have the parents show up, and we'll pin up all the designs on the wall and have them all present, and we'll pick the best one.
I think that's.
Wouldn't that be
Oh
cool?
my gosh, that would be a great day for them.
It'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of kids. I mean, heck, at 19, I didn't know what you guys did.
No, I think there's a lot of kids that have no idea how to even get into this profession and what it even is. I bet there's a bunch of them that don't even know what an architect does.
No.
You know?
Residential architecture is kind of not a dying breed, but it's a quiet breed for
Right.
sure.
No, there's so many opportunities for kids that don't have a degree.
Yep.
That can get in with CAD and drafting,
Mhm.
and you don't need 6-year degree to get into this profession.
No, and
know?
and what's great about that too is even if they are getting their degree, I think a lot of colleges kind of struggle with teaching residential architecture
Yeah.
and what to look for. And if anybody is going into architecture school, I would definitely recommend getting an internship somewhere.
Yeah, the internship's a big thing, and so is
Yeah.
mentorship,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yes, absolutely.
So
You're my mentor, dude. Sorry.
well, we help each other. Let's put it that way. You mentor me as much as I mentor you. It's just in a lot of different things, I think. So, but no, I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you, and I look forward to the next 10 years and hopefully 20 years. And
Yeah, we got to figure this out because we got 3 or 4 states that are coming our way. So we
Yeah.
got to decide what we want to do.
that's exactly right, right?
Yeah,
It's busy, isn't it?
it's a little too busy.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I know.
Ah,
No, it's a great busy, and we're trying to balance it out and just make sure that we're not
overcommitting and
Over-
overdoing things.
and
yeah,
overworking or
and
anything.
killing everybody in the process.
Yeah,
So it's a balance, isn't it?
yeah. What are you seeing out there right now? Just
Well, it's busy for sure. I mean, I think it's interesting that Arizona became this, hotspot again. So I don't know if that's going to slow things down in terms of, oh, we better not go to Arizona. But I think the COVID thing is pretty much everywhere. To be honest with you, I think there's going to be little flare-ups here and there, and things are going to happen. But I think the people from back east in LA and these really, congested areas just want some space.
they do.
They just want to get out and have some space.
They
you
want
know?
spaces, lower taxes.
Yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah. A little less government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's exactly right. So, Arizona, I mean, Phoenix is such a great place. I've lived here for almost 40 years now, and I just absolutely love it.
I know,
So,
that's the thing. I mean, at 14, I hated it. And at 37, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
yeah. It's just such an easy place to be and get around and do everything and go to other places. It's not hard to go anywhere from here, it seems
Yeah,
like.
you have the space. And then, if you want to take a drive, it's what, 5 hours to San Diego? And
Yep, 2 hours you're in the mountains.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
go
not
into
too bad.
snow.
Yeah,
There's not really much to complain about here.
no.
And with COVID-19, I mean, you kind of just get to a point where you're just like, I think everybody eventually will get it.
Yep.
So just kind of prepare. Stay healthy
Yeah,
and do what
stay
you
as healthy
can.
as you can. So what do you think of the new office?
Man, yeah, we finished this office at such a weird time.
We finished it. There's nobody here. It's completely empty.
So weird.
Talk about social distancing.
I know.
We got like 3 of us bubbling around in this place, and
Well, every now and then I get the sad face of, we don't have the staff here. We're not cooking them breakfast or anything.
right.
And
We're looking forward to those days.
yeah, you definitely look forward to it, and we're not going to take it for granted.
No,
I
no.
mean, I think we kind of reiterate that to the staff every day of, especially in the staff meetings, virtually. We're not going to take for granted seeing your smiling faces. That's
Yeah.
for damn sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But this office, I mean, just ups us. It just takes us to the next level of what
Pretty
else can we
cool,
do
isn't
for
it?
customer service,
Yeah.
you know?
No, it's gonna be fun to get clients back in that kitchen, and
Yeah,
just the few we've gotten in there so far, they just love it. It's like, oh my God, this was so fun.
Well, I mean, I would say 90% of our clients are like CEOs and doctors,
Right.
and they're exhausted and they're tired. They come into this, office, and you want them to look at your plans. and
Right.
That's your whole goal. But how
And
can
dream
they?
about their house.
Yeah, but how can they get in the mindset if they're hungry, they're tired and exhausted?
We got to feed them.
Yeah, you got to feed them. You got to, okay, let's get you something, in your tummy before you look at your plans. 'Cause
Yep.
we want you to look at it with, a clear eyes.
Yep. Now I remember when you first started, there was a couple clients that had their special requests, and you would always pick up on it. Like you'd have the peanut butter and crackers and chocolate.
Yeah,
you
Mr.
know,
Lewis, man.
Mr. Lewis, and I know Gil would always want a piece of chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Gil's
know.
such a great guy. He's just as sweet as chocolate, man.
Yeah, there you go. But those are the things that you always picked up on, and have really transmuted to the rest of the staff of just personalizing every experience for every client.
Well, I think you did that.
No, maybe it came.
Yeah.
Maybe
I definitely came from
We
you.
picked up on it from our trips.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so you went on our Italy trip and our Spain trip.
Yes, I did.
Which one did you like better?
I thought I absolutely loved Spain more. And then Top Chef had an episode of Italy, and it was like the season finale last week.
Huh.
And I was in tears. I was
The memories.
crying because I usually talk to all of our contacts in Italy every year.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked to anybody this year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's brutal because you don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
You
Well, it was
don't know
fun
how
doing
they
my
are.
podcast with Elizabeth a couple weeks ago, and just talking to her about
Yeah.
everything. And she was live. We talked, and it was great. And we talked with Gabriele and all
How
those
are they
guys.
doing?
They're doing good. It wasn't too bad in Umbria, so they got off pretty lucky. But I'll tell you, one of the nicest memories I have of the trip that you went on with us to Italy was that was the year that Isabel and I got married
Yeah.
at Lago di Como at Villa d'Este. And you put the whole damn thing on. You kept the whole thing kind of hush-hush with our travelers. Isabel knew to pack her dress.
Yeah. Well,
She threw it in the suitcase.
a couple of years at David's Bridal, I mean, she was the easiest bride I've ever dealt with,
And Scott was a photographer, your husband.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And great pictures. I mean, I look at them all the time. You know, that was the best day of my life, to be
You
honest
can't go
with you.
wrong with that scenery and
No.
the bride and you. I mean, you guys
Quite
are
a
all
day.
photogenic.
So we kept the whole wedding a secret.
Yep.
Up until the very last day of the tour, which we were at Villa d'Este.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, when we checked into the hotel, you made little invites that the hotel put on everyone's pillow, saying on your last day on the Candelaria Design Tour Italy, you're all invited to Mark and Isabel's wedding here at Lago di Como.
I remember the text we got after
Oh, it went
everybody
crazy.
checked in. They're like, "Are you
what?
serious?"
What? Are you serious? And it was so fun. John Legend was there with Christy Teigen. They got
Yep.
married the day before.
Yep.
We're in the bar with Kanye West.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. I just looked at that picture there today of all those boys in the
Well,
bar.
and John Legend was singing
Yeah.
All of Me.
Yeah, he recorded the video that week.
Yeah.
While we were there.
So it was a surreal, trip. Or
Yeah,
end
well,
of the trip for sure.
It was surreal because of the way you put on the wedding. I mean, it wasn't just like, let's get married, get adjusted the piece, and let's have a wedding. No, you had a quartet, you had flowers, you had a red carpet, you had a celebrant. We had this amazing lunch that was like out of The Godfather. We had the boat ride over to Bellagio. Then we had dinner at Gata de Nero. I mean,
one of my favorite pictures of you
is
the champagne bottle
out of the boat.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so fun.
So happy.
It was a great day, and we got it all on video.
Yep.
And so you did all of that. So I had to make you partner after that. I mean, shit, you pulled that off. You've got to be a partner. That's all there is to it.
Well, that's Villa de Este, man. They were
on. They treat us so good every time we go there. I mean, they remember our wedding and they treat us like royalty when we go there.
How could you not miss them? Yeah. Oh man, you guys were supposed to be there this year.
We were supposed to be there this year, but we're going to move it to next year.
Yep.
And we'll make it Isabel's 50th and my 60th.
There you go.
In combo. So that should be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's almost cosmic that way. That's perfect.
Yeah, who knows where we'll be next year at this time, though, right?
I think we'll get a vaccine.
We're all being hopeful.
I'm hopeful.
I think we all thought, as soon as they lifted the quarantine, they're like, oh, let's go party. And,
I think everybody got a little too crazy, and they're like, mask what?
Yeah.
We don't need a mask.
We don't stinking masks. I got badges. What do I need a mask for? Oh, my gosh. Well, I just want to say thank you again for everything you've done for us. You're an amazing friend, an amazing partner. I love collaborating with you and teaching you and learning from you, and I just think you're one of the best additions I've ever had in my life, and so I'm very, very thankful for you.
I'm crying.
No, it's very special. I'm a very, very lucky person.
Right back at you. I mean, honestly, Mark, everything that you've taught me, from 21 to 37, it's just been incredible. And I'm always learning. We were just talking about that last week.
We were just talking about that. Yeah, if you're not pushing yourself, you're not learning.
Yeah.
So you got to push. You got to push forward and push the envelope. You might fall. We've fallen plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
But we get right back up and just keep going.
Yeah.
I think that's just the key to it is I think a lot of people fall and they quit and they stay fallen.
Yeah.
And I just like, screw it. I don't care how much damn dirt I've got on me. It doesn't matter. No one cares.
No, they don't.
They don't care.
Because everybody's dealing with their own.
They're dealing with their own falls.
Exactly.
And so it's like, just get up and keep going. Yeah.
And it's such an incredible experience. And
what we've
forever
seen.
Grateful as
Me
your
too.
friend, and definitely, I love the fact that you're my mentor.
Yeah, well, I hope I'm your mentor for many, many, many years.
I don't see you retiring anytime soon, sir.
Well, I'll slow down, but I don't know if I'll ever go away because I love this place too much.
Yeah, I imagine you, 80 and, in bathrobes scaring the job captains, saying,
"Oh God, here he comes! Look out for that damn walker!"
Do you hear him? You hear the squeaky walker?
Oh, God.
You're not designing that, are you? I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that. This is what I did back in 1927 or whatever. So, well, thank you so much, Evelyn. Thanks for taking the time to do this. This is fabulous, and I look forward to many, many fun years with you.
Yeah, right back at you. Thanks.
I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. The Stockett team, along with so many others, are wrapping up the final details on our demonstration kitchen at our new expansion of our Candelaria Design offices. We have started our online video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I have had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on some amazing projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite. Work bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next kitchen, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.